Derick, Giwner, and Matt Rose back at DRF headquarters for another edition of the Harness Spotlight. This week we're going to look at some racing action at Vernon Downs on Saturday, August 17th. A lot of great action this weekend. Also, Tioga Downs on Sunday has some big races, including the leader for the Horse of the Year, I believe, Sharton, who's in action in the Art Escape. They also have the Roll with Joe, a couple EBC Empire Breeders' Classic finals. But we're going to go into Vernon Downs for Saturday. We have the Zweig Filly will be the first race we're going to look at. 135,000 on the line. And the morning line favorite here is Evident Beauty, but I'm not so sure the Ice Duchess won't end up going off the favorite.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they're both... I'm not going to fault the morning line making Evident Beauty the favorite, a lukewarm favorite. Quite accomplished this year, 4 wins and 7 starts. I mean, is the public going to be turned off that much by his break, by her break in stride in the Hamburg Oaks final? Maybe, maybe not. Obviously, she's a legit horse. The Ice Duchess is legit. You have a Tim Teacher driving a Toscana horse from the outside is legit, and you have a Marcus Melander trainee, Miss Trickton, who will probably attract some attention from the inside post.
Well, let's take a look at the Ice Duchess in a replay from last week. She was in the Continental Victory and looked pretty good, beating Starita, I believe.
Yeah, that was a nice, a very nice two-move front-end effort. You see Yanni Giwner pretty much in hand, well, was in hand. He's not panicking like he's going to lose this race at any point, and that's a solid mile.
It was a good confidence-building mile for the Ice Duchess, who, like I said, I think is, if not the one to beat, one of the ones to beat here, along with Evident Beauty. What do we do with this horse? I mean, she looked really good at points, and and then went into the Hamble Oaks, and she raced well in the limb, but kind of laid that egg in the final. She really wasn't going anywhere, even if she didn't break.
You're talking about Evident Beauty?
I'm talking about Evident Beauty.
Okay, Evident Beauty. Yeah, like I said, I don't think anyone's going to be turned off by that break in stride. Maybe who knows? You know what? These are fickle fillies, and much like you said, the Ice Duchess could benefit from that confidence-building victory. For whatever reason, Evident Beauty might have tailed off a little in the Hamburg Oaks final, which is a shame with $500,000 on the line. But I see no reason why she wouldn't be ready after a couple weeks off for this race. I'll put my trust in Dave Miller and Nifty Norman that she's ready to go. I don't think I'm going to have her on top just from a value standpoint, but I couldn't fault anyone in coming right back with her, without a doubt. Speaking
of some value, and also with the Hamburg Oaks, Miss Trixton raced really well from post 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, she wasn't going to go with When Doves Cry, let's say, but it was a pretty good mile for her, considering her ability level.
Well, you know what? You had a 10-hole at 90-something to 1 in the Hamburg Oaks final. Difficult to go anywhere. You give Brian Sears a ton of credit for picking up a 4th-place check, passing a bunch of horses from a no-chance spot. I mean, nobody's closing from that spot. I kind of like her in this spot. She draws a nice, a much better inside post. I won't say it's great, like it's a half-mile track or something like that, but clearly a much better spot. I'm kind of intrigued by the 8-1 morning line for proven connections, without a doubt, and Marcus Melander, who's hoping to have a big day at Vernon Downs. If I get anywhere near that 8-1, which I don't think, maybe 5-1 or something like that, I'm going to hop on board with her.
I went a different way in here. I went with number 3, Sonic Grace, who I really think was starting to come around. If you look at her lines in the gears, 3 starts back, which is actually 2 starts because she raced twice in the Hamburg Oaks.
3 starts back.
3 starts back. She raced really well that time, and that was with Lasix. And then she went into the Oaks, and she had to remove the Lasix and wasn't quite as good. I really felt like she was coming into her form. I think she's getting Lasix back here. She's 8-1 on the morning line. She'll certainly be a price come post time, and I think she's one that could surprise here.
I do have a little notation on my notes here with the little speed symbol. I wouldn't surprise me if Scott Zeron's listed to drive for Ron Burke with Yanni Giwner going to the Ice Duchess. I wouldn't be surprised if he took a shot, if Zeron took a shot off the gate with the filly, try to set her up. It's definitely a perfect spot to leave the gate. Can she win this race? I don't think so. She's definitely going to be in my tickets underneath Miss Trixton. Additionally, with the Ice Duchess, Starita, who we didn't get to, another potential speed type, and it's hard not to use Evident Beauty on your tickets, but I'm just going to put my faith in Brian Sears that's a very confidence-building effort in the Hamburg Oaks final to pass a bunch of horses, and we'll see if she can progress from there.
And I just want to throw out another horse that I'm going to have on my tickets is number 9, Golden Tricks, who, if you look, races well just about every single week. I mean, with the exception of the Hamburg Oaks limb. She didn't make the final from an outside post. But other than that, all her starts are really good. She's 10-1 on the morning line. She'll be a price in here. So I'm looking at Golden Tricks, Sonic Grace, and the Ice Duchess as my three, top three in the race. But obviously Evident Beauty has a shot. Miss Trixton as well.
Speaking of speed off the gate, if Okies Fonset has what can be considered a live horse in here, I'm sure he's not bashful about taking a shot off the gate. That's for sure.
No doubt about it. We're going to move on to race number 9. It's the Harry Zweig Memorial, $330,000 on the line for these male trotters. And it's a pretty nice field of 9 here, and it's led by the horse everyone thought was going to win the Hamiltonian, Green Shoe.
Listen, you see a lot of familiar faces here, a bunch of horses coming to the Hamiltonian final, which is generally what happens when the Zweig comes up a couple weeks later. We really don't need to talk about Green Shoe's ability. We have to talk about how short of a price he's going to be, and if it's worth betting him. And that's basically what this race comes down to.
Well, since we're talking about Green Shoe, and so many of these also came out of the Hamiltonian, why don't we take a look at the replay for the Hamiltonian and relive the action as you see Green Manalishi, who's in this race, is first over, trying to clear the lead here, and Forbidden Trade, the eventual winner, second up with the 6 horse, and then we have Green Shoe behind him.
Well, when we're picking up this clip, we see Green Shoe just looks like he's in a perfect spot to pounce start over. What we didn't see was the start of the race with Brian Sears fighting him, a horse getting in his way, him getting backed up, and him having to work just to get to that spot third over. Brian Sears took a little criticism. Was he a little too confident? Did he think he was sailing?
I don't think so.
Did the horse hang? But he deserves a ton of praise just for keeping the horse trotting when 9 out of 10 other drivers might have lost him, given his prior and current antics, you could say, on the track and behind the gate.
I agree 100%. I mean, almost any other horse wouldn't have missed that race by a neck. They would have lost by like 5 lengths. I mean, they would have been way back. I mean, the quality of Green Shoe is what you saw there, that he was able to lose by that much. Did he hang in the stretch? Yeah, he did. He hung in the stretch.
He surprised surprised a lot of people when they went, wow, look at this thing. He's rolling by. And he didn't.
He was also asked to do something that he's never been asked to do before, just like all these other horses. Mm-hmm. And you know what? So he couldn't come through in the second heat. Now we're going one race.
I hate using it as an excuse, but I see where you're going because all 10 horses went through the same exact thing.
Now listen, don't get me wrong. If he comes into the Zweig here and he doesn't perform, up to bill, so to speak, and doesn't produce a pretty big win, then you know what, he's got to be moved down a couple of notches on the rung. But going in, I got to look at this as Green Shoe's race to lose. Is he going to be 2-5? Yeah, probably. And you know what, if he shows up like I saw all the races prior to, I think he's going to win. That being said, I really like the way Green Manalishi raced in the Hamiltonian. I
had a feeling you were going that direction because so am I.
I thought he raced great in the elimination. He raced really well in the final. He had a tough trip. His connections decided to keep him here rather than going back to Europe. Mm-hmm. So there's got to be reasons to that. I really feel like this is a good spot for him. I'm still picking Green Shoe on top, but I'm probably looking at a cold exacta, Green Shoe over Green Manalishi.
There'll be two of the, I believe, 4 Melander trainees in this race. I'm looking at this race like I know Green Shoe's the best. We all know that. We also know he's going to be over bet. And I'm just going to take a stab that tonight isn't his night. And not that I want to say anything, bad happen for the connections, but I will be looking at another Melander trainee, the one you just mentioned, Green Manalishi. I love the way he's coming to this race. I love the spots. You can't take anything away from that effort in the Hambo final where he was basically used early and then attacking uncovered, grabbing a short lead, wearing down the leader, only to get swallowed up. Great effort, and I just think this is a perfect spot to if Green Shoe is not 100% focused, I guess you could say the word is. I think Green Manalishi will be right there to pick up the pieces. And while the connections might be a little disappointed in Green Shoe's performance, they will be happy when Green Manalishi picks up the pieces and gets the lion's share of this purse. And if I can get 4-1 or something like that on him, I'm taking a stab.
A couple other horses just to look at in here. The 3 Don't Let Him. I mean, really, you have to ask which horse is going to show up. I mean, because when he's right, he's really, really good. But he's just not. He doesn't always come with his A game.
I agree that you see the decent effort in the Hambo elimination. Broke in the final when he wasn't really involved to begin with. He wasn't going to pass those horses in front of him anyway. We have Marcial, the Okies Fonstedt speedster. He's the horse that beat Green Shoe a few starts back at Pocono. You got to believe he'll be on the lead at some point during this race. He has to show more late.
I think the other Svanstedt horse is even more interesting. Sheena's Boy, who's picking up Dexter Dunn for the first time. We've seen so many times where Dexter's gotten in the bike for Svanstedt, where Svanstedt was driving all along, Dexter gets in the bike, and all of a sudden, this horse picks up a second or two.
He's been picking up seconds or two for multiple trainers all over North America. Great for him. He's only been here, like a year or something like that? Dexter Dunn, yeah. He's another Svanstedt speedy type. Union Force, as you mentioned off camera, obviously has a ton to prove, but I kind of like the driver change. David Miller's listed. He'll be a big price. Maybe I'll throw him in the Exactus tries and or supers, trying to get a big price. So you're going with Green Shoe, cold with Green Monalishi. I'm going with Green Monalishi, not cold with Green Shoe, maybe spread around. Hope the Green Shoe is not on his best game. I'd love to see him race well, just not beat me. But he's just not worth what's going to be a short price, and that's basically the angle I'm looking at here.
The two Zweig goes races 8 and 9 on the Saturday card at Vernon Downs. There's also a $5,000 guaranteed pick 4 starts in race number 6. Might want to take a chance and go for that. Until then, good luck.